We've been under construction off and on for about the last 2.5 years. First with our landscaping project, then with our actual building construction project, now with the archaeological dig. At least in this case, there's minimal disturbance to our work in the building. We just get to see the cool things they're bringing out of the ground.
You know, sometimes history isn't just for the books. We're standing on it. It's beneath our feet. At the corner of Main Street, where the old assay office stands, a routine construction project turned into a time capsule of Boise's mining era. Last fall, as they were digging trenches for faster internet outside the building, crews uncovered something a lot more interesting than fiber optic cable. Old crucibles and forgotten fragments dating back to the gold rush era. Now, Hunter Funk explains that archaeologists are back to finishing what construction crews accidentally started, finding hidden stories beneath Boise's downtown.
Here we are, not quite a year later, and now we're taking the opportunity to be very scientific, but we're also still going to get as much of that collection as we can.
Hundreds of pieces of history were uncovered, but limited to the one area where the fiber optic line was being placed nearly a year ago. But now, the Idaho Preservation Office, University of Idaho, and BSU students are sifting through the rest.
First day we were finding artifacts.
I'm kind of curious because we have this mark here.
The historic assay office, built in 1871, once buzzed with the hopes of miners seeking fortune. It's a facility where the quality and purity of precious metals, such as gold, silver, and platinum, were tested and certified. And now home to the Idaho State Historic Preservation Office. So it's kind of ironic that now, more than 150 years later, it's yielding secrets long buried. This dig is giving students a field school in their own backyard.
Field schools are a big deal in archaeology. If you want to be a professional archaeologist, you need a field school. It's part of the requirements for entering the profession. And a lot of the traditional model has been, even if you're from Boise, Idaho, you end up doing a field school in Europe and digging up, say, Roman ruins. But then when you come back to work in the States, you have great training on Roman archaeology. You maybe don't have the best training on what's literally around you in your city.
This allows them to avoid spending thousands of dollars on other digging opportunities because it's right here at home. You might ask, how did they figure out where to dig?
Ground penetrating radar. It's a technique for, without removing the soil, getting an image of what might be below the soil, and what it does is it just tells you if there's anomalies. So it'll tell you if something slightly different is going on. It won't tell you what's down there, but there are 3 spots that they highlighted that we're going to go in and test.
They also look at places where people would frequent, out the front and back doors, eventually digging a meter deep.
Yeah. I love anything where you can see someone has modified it, someone has maybe scratched an initial into it. People were really clever, especially back if we're talking about like 1870s. There was a lot of reuse going on.
These are probable scorifiers that we use during the mining process. We clearly have 2 different ones. Not only can you tell from the shape of the base, but the fact that this one has kind of numbers engraved into it.
And the finds already adding up.
As a whole, it'll be a great amount of data that we can look at and sort of figure out, you know, what day-to-day life was like for the folks who lived here over the decades.
Each item is dug up, cleaned, cataloged.
There's a number actually right there, like that's kind of barely visible. It says, I think it reads 1.
And will eventually be returned to Boise. The artifacts tell a story of people, places, and life in Idaho. What began as a simple quest for faster internet quickly dug up a deeper connection to Boise's hidden history.
Anything that expands the story of the building's use and the type of work that they were doing here, even how they lived here.
Right outside of the State Historic Preservation Office. It's perfect. Yeah. And accidental discoveries, you know, they happen. This is a great example of like somebody finding something and calling the right authority, and then now we get to go back and find out more about the people who those items once belonged to.
And if that wasn't fitting enough, what could be more fitting than the Idaho Archaeology Fair at the Assay Office at the exact same time? Well, on Friday from noon to 6, they're going to be holding it on the lawn, and they will still continue to be digging up more of those artifacts as well.
Throughout your entire story, all I could think about is, I wonder what's buried beneath our studio.
Seriously, though, it's incredible. And it blows my mind just thinking about how much they end up finding. And a lot of this is their trash, right?
Yeah.
One man's trash, our history, I guess you could say.
That's great.
Yeah.
What do you think they'll find 100 years from now from us? Probably fiber internet.
Yeah, fiber internet and iPhones.
Wow. Thanks, Hunter.